You might not realize it yet, but appraisals are one of the top 3 reasons real estate deals can fall apart. In this video, I'll share 3 critical things you need to know before the appraiser even comes out that can impact the appraisal value. These include what appraisers look for, what hurts an appraisal, and what to do if an appraisal comes in below your sales price. Hi, I'm Wesley Craig, realtor in California, Silicon Valley. If you're new to the channel and interested in all things real estate, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. Let's do this. First, let's talk about the difference between an appraisal and what your home is worth. An appraisal is the opinion of value from a licensed appraiser based on recent comparable sales in your neighborhood. For the sale of your home, the buyer's lender requires a third party to verify your house is worth the agreed upon price. For example, let's say you submit $1 million on a house and that offer gets accepted. You want that appraisal, especially if you're financing, you want that appraisal to come in at value. If you're paying cash, don't worry about it because you don't need an appraisal. But if you are financing, you're going to want that appraisal to come in at value. Why? Because the bank wants to make sure before they lend you the money, they want to make sure they're lending it to someone who is paying what the value of that investment is. So if it gets accepted at $1 million and the appraisal comes in at, let's say, $950,000, what is the bank going to say? The bank's going to say, hold on, you're paying way more than what this investment is. So we're not going to give you this money because you are overpaying for this investment. We're not going to lend you $1 million unless you come up with the difference. So since it's valued at $950,000, we'll give you the $950,000 loan, but we won't give you the $1 million. So you have to come up with that difference. So an appraisal contingency could save you in the situation if you're a buyer. On the other hand, what your home is worth is based on what a motivated buyer is willing to pay. So in a very hot market with multiple offers, buyers may pay more than what the appraised value is. So like I said, cash offers and buyers who waive that appraisal contingency to get their offers accepted are good examples. So if buyers put down a large down payment, over 50%, for example, the appraisal value may not impact their financing. So what do appraisers look for? Safety equipment. Make sure you have smoke detectors in each bedroom and a carbon monoxide detector on each level of your house. Also, ensure your water heater is properly strapped. If these items aren't in place, you'll be charged a re-inspection fee. So don't do that. Another thing is deferred maintenance. Appraisers look for signs of deferred maintenance like ceiling stains or visibly worn roof. They might require a 2-year roof certification from a licensed roofer. If you've had roof repairs in the past, paint the ceilings and disclose any previous leaks and repairs. Termite reports and peeling paint. Appraisers might note wood damage and recommend a termite report. For FHA and VA loans, peeling paint could be flagged as deferred maintenance and will need fixing. Paint is one of the easiest things you can fix. So just touch it up. You don't have to repaint your entire house. If you have the leftover paint and it's just a couple peeling paints, just touch it up. If you can repaint the entire house, excellent. Go ahead and do that. Let's also talk about things that can hurt your appraisal, which are often under your control. Home appearance. A clean and tidy home helps appraisers focus on the elements that bring value. Untidiness or odors can distract the true value of your home. Another thing is upgrades and renovations. Not providing a list of recent upgrades and their costs can hurt your appraisal. If you've made substantial improvements like a new roof, central AC, kitchen remodels, etc., make sure to provide this information to the appraiser. So what do you do if the appraisal comes in low? The best approach is to be proactive. Provide sale comparables. When representing a seller, I provide the appraiser with the best comparable sales to justify the agreed upon price. I also do this when I'm representing buyers because I'm awesome like that, and I need to make sure that your appraisal, if you're a buyer, comes in at value. Otherwise, we're going to have an issue and you're going to have to come up with extra funds. So I'm going to make sure we do that. Also, another thing for sellers, I'm going to make sure it comes in at value, because if it doesn't come in at value, even though it's not your issue, it's a buyer's issue. And if they can't close on the loan, then now you have an issue and you may have to go back on market. So we don't want to do that. So I'm going to do it with both buyers and sellers. Another thing is understanding financing impact. If a buyer puts down over 50%, a low appraisal might not affect their financing. However, buyers putting down 20% or less might need to renegotiate the sale price. That is where an appraisal contingency will be helpful if you are a buyer. However, I'll save that for another video. So be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon, and you can watch it in another video. So if an appraisal does come in low, here are your options. Challenge the appraisal. Review the appraisal for better comparables or errors, and provide this information to the appraiser. The buyer can also cover the difference between the sale price and the appraisal. So as I mentioned earlier, if it does come in low, the buyer could just come up with the extra funds if they do have it, and then smooth sailing, and then we don't have to worry about it. Another thing is the seller can reduce the price of the appraisal value, or a combination of the buyer bringing extra money and the seller reducing the price. So circling back to my example of $1 million and 950, there's a $50,000 gap. If that's the case and the buyer says, hey, I need help, it came in way below, and the seller's like, well, you didn't have an appraisal contingency. You know, you don't have to be like that as a seller. What you could do is, hey, let's come to an agreement. If you can come up 25K, I'll drop the price 25K, because chances are if you lose that buyer and you go back on market, you have to disclose that the appraisal came in at 950,000. So as a seller, you don't want to go back on market, because other buyers are going to come through and then they're going to see that it came in at 950,000. And those are the offers you're likely to get. So it's going to be much easier and a much smoother process if you go ahead and work with that current buyer and come to an agreement. Another thing is, what is the first thing buyers ask if you go back on market? The first and most common question that I get all the time when a house goes off market pending, what's wrong with the house? Even if there's nothing wrong with it. You don't want that question, because now you're going to have a different issue, and you're gonna have to explain to every single buyer, oh, it was nothing. It was just the other buyer couldn't close, and now you're just sitting on the market longer. And the longer you sit on market, the more likely you're gonna become a stale listing. So you don't wanna do that. All right, moving on. Another thing is, if both parties can't agree, the transaction can be canceled. But if both the buyer and seller are motivated, this situation can often be resolved. I have never had a transaction canceled because the buyer or seller could not come to an agreement specifically from an appraisal. So you don't have to worry about that if you're working with me. And if you're in the California, Silicon Valley area and need expert help with your real estate needs, feel free to reach out to me to have a one-on-one conversation about your specific needs and how we can achieve your real estate goals together. Feel free to contact me directly in the links in the description below. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more real estate tips. Thank you so much for watching, and happy selling. I will see you in the next video.